Shalom, shalom, shalom. I want to give our honor and glory to Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shadas, bro, Ali Yahweh, the servants. Back at it again, right, with another video through the Spirit, right? So we're going to get straight into it. Who shall ascend to the hill? Who shall ascend to the hill, right? So we're going to go straight into this thing, right? Go to the book of Psalms, chapter 24 and verse 3, right? Book of Psalms 24 and 3. Let's get that. The book of Psalms, chapter 24, verse 3 says, who shall ascend into the hill of the Lord? Right? Who shall stand in his holy place? Right? And so that this hill, right, it's talking about the kingdom. Right? That's what it's talking about. So it says, who shall ascend to who shall get the kingdom? Who's going to get the kingdom? Right? Who's going to be in the holy place? Right? And we know that there's nothing more holy than Jerusalem, the kingdom. Of course, when the Lord reestablished us back in that land, like right now it's desolate, right? It got heathen occupying that land right now. But the time is coming, right? When the Lord is going to remove those people from the land, right? And He's going to have Jerusalem rebuild it, right? So who going to be the people that's going to dwell there, right? Is it going to be your little Pookies, right? Your little Ray Rays? Is it going to be these brothers and sisters that's halfway in this truth, playing games, right? Or is it going to be the people that's being sincere, being on fire, being diligent, praying, fasting, seeking the Lord, right? Repenting, offending less, right? Who's it going to be, right? So let's go to Psalms 15 and 1, right? We're gonna revisit chapter 24, but we're gonna go to Psalms 15 and 1 first, right? It says, Lord, who shall abide in thy tabernacle? Who shall dwell in thy holy hill? Right, the kingdom, right? It says, he that walketh uprightly and worketh righteousness and speaketh the truth in his heart. So you gotta walk uprightly, right? Now, walking uprightly is simple. Let's go to a simple a class precept in Deuteronomy 10 and 12. Walking uprightly, that's walking in the ways of the Lord, right? So let's go to Deuteronomy 10 and 12. It says, and now Israel, right? What doth the Lord thy God require of thee? Right? So the back to basic things, you know what I'm saying? Keeping the commandments, right? But to fear the Lord thy God, to walk in all his ways. So walking in the ways of the Lord, that is walking uprightly, right? That's not committing adultery, fornication, right? Idolatry, right? Keeping the Sabbath day holy, wearing your fringes, right? That's walking uprightly. So if you was like, a lot of people they want to achieve success in this world, right? They want to achieve a rap career. They want to achieve to be the best NBA or NFL player. Well, if you're trying to achieve or get the kingdom, Lord, or wanting to get the kingdom, and you gotta walk uprightly, right? You gotta love your brother rightly, right? Your sister rightly, right? Walk in the ways of the Lord, right? Walking in the ways of the Lord is not living like Sexy Red, right? Walking in the ways of the Lord is not them being like them Kendrick, right? Drake, right? Being a dope boy, being a blood member, right? Being a gang member, right? That's not walking uprightly, right? So we gotta walk in the ways of the Lord, right? So let's go back to Psalms 15, right? It says, and work of righteousness, right? And speak of the truth in his heart, right? And this is the truth, right? That we're the Israelites, that we God's chosen people, that we got to keep the commandments, that we got to repent, that we got to have faith in Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shah. That's the truth, right? Let me get a precept. Let me get a precept. get a precept because we can't let the you shouldn't want the precepts or the words of the Lord to depart from your mouth, man. Let me get that. I want to say it's in yes, Joshua 1:8, right? Classic precept, right? It says, "This book of the law shall not depart out of thy mouth," right? So let's go to another classic precept, right? So when you understand, right, that the book of the law that's you should want to depart from thy mouth, right? You got to understand too also that the book of the law is also the way of it's the truth, right? Let's get another precept to line this up, right? Let's get another precept to line this up. All right, Psalms 119 and 142. Right? Let me get that real fast. All right, so it's the book of Psalms, chapter 119 and verse 142. Thy righteousness is an everlasting righteousness, and thy law is the truth. So the law, statutes, commandments, that's the truth, right? That's the truth, right? So with that being said, right, and go back to Psalms, right? You gotta constantly be speaking truth, right? It says speak a truth in his heart, in your mind, right? The truth gotta be in your mind. This truth gotta be in your mind. You gotta be meditating on it, right? You gotta be sitting there thinking about it. I gotta keep the Sabbath holy. I gotta keep dietary laws. Right, I can't be no backbiter. Right, I can't be I can't get no. You gotta have the laws in your mind. Right, you gotta be speaking truth. Right, we talking to your neighbors. Right, let's go to the book of you talking to your neighbors. Right, I'm gonna get that in the book of Deuteronomy. Right, and this is part of the law. Right, a lot of people don't really touch on this. Right, let me get this Deuteronomy 11 and verse number. Let me see. Bear with me. Right here, right here. The book of Deuteronomy 11, verse 18 says, "Therefore," right, Shalom, 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 Brother James, Shalom. So, I read this. It says, "Therefore shall ye lay up these words, they lay up these my words in your heart," right? The truth, the law, statutes, commandments, and in your soul, and bind them for a sign upon your hand, that they may be as frontlets between your eyes, right? And ye shall teach them your children. So you got to be teaching your children the law, statutes, commandments, right? You got to be teaching your woman, your wife, speaking of them when thou sittest down in thine house, right? How many people really sit down in your house and you sitting there talking about law, statutes, commandments, right? Talking about repenting, right? You got to be doing these things. When you sit in your home, you're just not in your home sitting there talking about folly, right? You got to be talking about law, statutes, commandments, right? And this is in the law. It says, "And when thou walkest by the way," right? "And when thy liest down." How many people before you lay down, right? You kind of sit in your bed, you talk about law, statutes, commandments. You know what I'm saying? Like this is the kind of mindset we gotta be in, though, right? That's having it really, truly. You constantly meditate on law, statutes, commandments day and night. This is the process of doing that, right? This is the process of speaking truth, right, in your heart, in your mind, right? This is the process, right, of letting the law not depart from your mouth. This is that process. Teaching it to your children, right? Speaking it in your house, right? When thy walk is by the way, right? You just outside walking. You know what I'm saying? You think about law, statutes, commandments, right? And doing these things can also help prevent you from being tempted by certain things, right? Kind of walking, so I don't need kind of see a sister. She ain't got nothing on. You can't be stumbling at a beautiful woman, whatever precept, or I can't be fornicating, lust of thought, whatever, right? By you constantly meditating and speaking laws, such commandments, right? It can prevent you from doing other things, right? Going the hell off, basically, right? It says when thou liest down and when thou rises up. So when you get up, right? When you get up, right? Say, talk about the commandments. Say something. Talk about this. Talk about these scriptures, man. When you wake up, talk about these. When you lay down, talk about these scriptures, right? When you in your house, talk about the scriptures, right? It says, and thou shalt write them upon the doorpost. Now I do see people, some people do it. And then if you don't have this, right, it's a thing called, what is called mezuzah or something like that. But I know Chief Ephraim, I got one from Chief Ephraim as well though. But it's a thing, and it got the commandments on it, and you put it on your doorpost, right? You put on your doorpost like on your door. You know what I'm saying? Right there on your door, and that's what it's talking about, right? It says, "Thou shalt write them upon the doorposts of thy house and upon thy gates," right? So we gotta constantly be talking about law, statutes, commandments, meditating on law, statutes, commandments. Now, by doing so, right, by doing these things, right, this is how you walk uprightly, right? This is how you work righteousness, right? This is how you speak truth, right? So back to verse 13, back to Psalm 15:3. He that backbiteth not with his tongue, right? Nor doeth evil to his neighbor. So you can't be out here doing evil to your neighbor, right? You sitting here thinking about how you gonna rob Tay, right? Tuki, right? You can't be sitting there imagining wickedness towards your neighbor, right? Trying to do your neighbor any harm, right? Think about sleeping with this brother woman, right? Sleeping with this brother wife, right? That's evil towards your neighbor. Talking blasphemous thing about your neighbor, backbiting about your neighbor, right? Can't do such things, right? That's not loving your brother or loving your sister, right? Says, nor taketh up a reproach against his neighbor, in whose eyes a vile person is contemned, right? But he honoreth them that fear the Lord, right? So we gotta be disgusted by wickedness, right? We gotta be disgusted by wickedness. I'm gonna show y'all what I'm talking about. Let me get this right quick. All right. So when it says that vile person, bro, you gotta lock in. I know this. So that vile person, that's that person that's going to hell off, right? You gotta hate that. You gotta hate that sin for nature, right? But this Sirach chapter 17 and verse 26, right? It says, "Turn again to the Most High, and turn away from iniquity, for he will lead thee out of darkness into the light of health, and hate thou abomination vehemently." So when you see your neighbor going to hell off, you don't need to be sitting there smiling, right? Some people like to see their neighbor going off. Some people like to see how people commit wickedness, right? Just like these Christian pastors, they don't rebuke our brothers when they out there with the broke hand, when they're part of the alphabet community, right? They don't rebuke them, right? When you got women dressed up like men, want to be men, they don't rebuke them, right? So they don't look down, they don't look down at iniquity, right? They kind of smile at it, they kind of pass it off. Long as you got that, long as you prepare your tithes, that's all that matters, right? And when you look down at iniquity or look at the iniquity in disgust, right? And let your brother know, hey, you can't be living like that. What are you also doing? You're upholding the law, right? Well, let's get to it. Hold on. Let me just go there. Leviticus chapter 19, right? In verse 17, it says, thou shalt not hate thy brother in thine heart. Thou shalt thou shalt in any wise rebuke thy neighbor and not suffer sin upon him. Right? So when you rebuking your neighbor, you hating that sin that they got going on, and you rebuking them. Like, hey, brother, you can't be doing that. Hey, sister, don't be doing that. Right? And thus, what are you doing then? Right? You're condemning, right, the vile person. But he honored them that fear the Lord. Right? And so we respect those people that fear the Lord, though. Those people that's being diligent, those people that's being on fire. Right? You got some people, they respect more these athletes, these rappers, more than they do people that fear the Lord. Especially in the world. Right? They look up to your Sexy Reds. They look up to the Meg Thee Stallions. They look up to your Boston Riches. Right? They look up to your Futures. Right? They look up to these people, right? These vile people, instead of condemning them. Right? But the people that's gonna get the kingdom, they're not gonna sit there and be looking at this, right? Smiling at these people, want to be like these people, right? But they gonna respect the people or have honor to the people that fear the Lord, right? People that's keeping the Sabbath holy, keeping Passover, wearing their fringes, right? Repenting, offending less, right? He that sweareth to his own hurt and changeth not. He that putteth not out his money to usury. That's another part of law. So when you go into this process of dang, man, who's gonna sin? Who's gonna get to the kingdom? Who's gonna dwell in the holy hill? Right? The people that's keeping the law. And of course have faith in Yahweh Shai. Right? But you gotta be keeping the law and having faith with Yahweh Shai. Have faith in Yahweh Shai. He that putting not out money to usury, nor take reward against the innocent. He that doeth these things shall never be moved. Right? So by you keeping laws, statutes, commandments, right, you will never be moved. Right? So boom, we get another precept though. Bear with me. Let me get a precept that I seen something in so I can bear with me. Let me see. I was gonna look at it was a precept. Now I'm gonna get this right here. Because we want to make sure that you're having faith as well. Right? We want to make sure that you're having faith as well. Right? And I'm gonna jump down to verse. I'm gonna just start at verse 12. This is Hebrews chapter 3, verse 12. It says, "Take heed, brethren, lest there be any of you in evil heart of unbelief in departing from the living God." Right? Because you got some people, right? They have unbelief, right? You got some people that really say they say the truth, but they really don't believe, right? They depart. But you got people that say, "All right, I believe in Yahweh Shai," but then they don't no more, right? That's departing from the living God, right? Because it's Yahweh and it's Yahweh Shai, right? You gotta believe in Yahweh Shai as well. So you don't believe in Yahweh Shai, you don't believe in the Father. Thus, you departed from your Yahweh Shai, right? But anyways, you got people that say, "Oh, this Israelite stuff, this is not for me," right? And they go back into the world, right? I'm done with that. I phased out of the Israelite mindset. I've been there for. I heard somebody say I've been there for. What the hell do you mean you've been here before? You should have stayed here. You shouldn't have went nowhere. But because they wasn't being sincere, because they wasn't keeping the law, thus they got moved. Because if you doing what you gotta do, right, as in keeping the law, right, you're not gonna be moved, right? But anyways, but exhort one another daily while it is called today, lest any of you be hardened through deceitfulness of sin. For we were made partakers of Mashiach if we hold the beginning of our confidence steadfast unto the end. Right? And so we gotta hold We got to hold fast to this truth until the end. It says strive for the truth until death, right? So we got to hold fast to this truth until the end, right? It says, wow, it is said today, if you will hear his voice, harden not your hearts, right? As in the provocation, right? So, and him hearing, and you and our people hearing their voices when they see the men on the highways and byways, their preaching the gospel and things like that. That's the voice of the Lord, right? People tell you need to repent, right? This is the voice of the Lord. So what you need to do? You gotta hearken to the voice of the Lord. Take heed, right? Don't harden your heart. You gotta humble yourself to the voice of the Lord, right? You got to. And when you don't humble yourself to the voice of the Lord, you doing what you want to do, and you trying to satisfy your flesh, right? It says, for some, when they had heard, did provoke, howbeit not all that came out of Egypt by Moses, right? So you don't want to be like those ones that their hearts was hardened. They tempted the Most High, right? They committed wickedness, and guess what happened? They didn't make it. They didn't make it to the land, right? And you don't want to be that one that because of your hardened heart, but you don't make it to the kingdom. Because you tempt the Most High, that you don't make it to the kingdom. You don't want that, right? Because you've been a nigga. Because that's exactly what they was in Egypt. They just left Egypt, and they went right back to being niggas, right? And that be a lot of people in the truth, right? You hear the truth, right? It sound good, right? Probably with your friends for a good little bit, right? Keeping a couple Sabbath days, right? You know what I'm saying? Probably keep a couple feast days. Then next thing you know, you go right back to being a nigga, right back to smoking blunts, right back to popping this woman and popping that woman, not trying to make them your wives, right? Going back to breaking the Sabbath, going back to not wearing fringes, right? And by that activity and by those actions, right, without repentance, you're not going to get the kingdom, right? You're finished, right? You're finished, because that's a lot of things. A lot of times, a lot of people want to go back to Egypt, back living like America. That's what America is, Egypt. If you understand what I'm saying, they want to go back, right? It says, but with whom was he grieved 40 years? Was it not with them that had sinned, whose carcasses fell in the wilderness? Right? So you don't want your carcass, you don't want to die here in Babylon. But that's gonna be your judgment, your reward, if you continue to live in sin, if you continue to be a wicked Negro and not repent. Right? If we continue just to live and live in this flesh, satisfy this flesh, bro, our carcass is gonna fall here in Babylon. Because Babylon is also a wilderness. Right? Let's see if I can get a precept. America's also a wilderness. Let me see if I can find a precept. If I find a precept, I'm gonna bring it out. If I don't, I'm gonna keep it pushing. All right, let's see. Let me see. Bear with me. Let me see, because it says something that, let me see, bear with me. It's a precept in Job, I want to say. And it's, I think it's, I want to say it's one in Isaiah. But like I said, if I find it, bro, I'm gonna bring it out. But if not, man, I'm gonna keep it moving. Right. Right. So I'm gonna check this right quick. If not, man, I'm just gonna keep going. We're gonna keep it pushing, right? All right, I can't find it, so I'm not gonna worry about it right now. All right, we're gonna keep it pushing, right? We'll keep pushing. All right. Let's just go back. But anyways, back to Hebrews we was reading. So it says, but again, you know what I'm saying? Babylon is a wilderness, right? Because you know a wilderness is a desolate place. Right? Wilderness is a dry land. Right? There's no when it says it's dry land, right? There's no true living water. So the only living water that's here in Babylon is the people that's preaching this gospel. That's the only place you're gonna find living waters in Babylon. Right? Other than that, it's a dry land. Right? It's a desert. No water, no nothing going on, man. It ain't got no fruit, it ain't got no trees, it ain't got nothing, it ain't got no honey, it ain't got no bread. It's just desolate. Right? People out here just starving, just finished. Right? Right? The valley of dry bones, right? So to speak. Right? So you don't want your carcass, right, to fall here in Babylon, right? And you don't receive the kingdom. Right? You understand what I'm saying? And it says, into whom swear he that they should not enter into his rest, but to them that believe not. So it says, because they didn't believe, they not going to enter into the rest. Right? So we see that they could not enter in because of unbelief. So you gotta you gotta have faith in these times, right? You can't have faith in your pastor, you can't have faith in your parents, you can't have faith in your money, you can't have faith in your job. You gotta have faith in Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua. That's what you gotta have faith in, right? You gotta have faith in him. If not, man, you're gonna be out there. You're gonna be just like those people in the wilderness, and you ain't gonna make it, right? You're going to be just like the people in the wilderness, and you're not going to make it because of your unbelief. Straight like that. If you don't believe, you don't have faith, you ain't going to make it. So that's why you got to have faith mixed with works. You got to have both. Right? And that also goes to the precept that's in 2nd Esdras chapter 9. Right? 2nd Esdras 9 and 7. It says, and everyone that shall be saved and shall be able to escape by his works and by faith, whereby ye have believed. You gotta believe in this thing. You gotta believe we God's chosen people. You gotta believe that we gotta repent. You gotta believe that we gotta keep these commandments. You gotta believe. You have to. If you do not believe, you're finished. You're toast. You missed the food. Right? You ain't gonna make it to the rest. And we need rest. Right? We constantly always working. We always doing this. We always doing that. We always busy. Right? But in the kingdom, that's where we have true rest. This is not our rest. But there's a promise of rest if you keep the commandments. If you be diligent. If you be on fire. If you walk in righteousness. If you speak the truth in your heart and your mind. Right? If you believe. But you gotta believe. Right? So let's go to I want to keep going on this a little bit. It's a precept I seen right here. Hebrews chapter 4, verse 11. It says, let us labor, therefore, to enter into that rest. So we gotta labor. Now think about this. This is what the faith, we talk about the faith. Now it says let's labor. So when you have faith, you believe and you hoping in something, right? But when it says let us labor, now that's an action. So it's something that you must do, right? And that's the works of righteousness, walking in righteousness, right? Let me get a precept. Right, this is the book of 1 Samuel chapter 2, verse 3. Right, it says, talk no more sitting proudly. Let not arrogancy come out of your mouth. For the Lord, right, is a God of knowledge. And by him, actions are weighed. So the Lord, he's going to weigh your actions. He's going to weigh out the things that you're actually doing. Right? Then Yahweh shall say, if you love me, keep my commandments, right? Hereby we know that we love God if we keep his commandments. So when we saying something, we actually got to have action behind it. So you say you got faith, you got to move. We got to move like you got to have faith, that you got faith. You got to perform as though you have faith, right? Let me go to this in Hebrews chapter 11, right? Because our forefathers, they performed, right, as if they had faith, right? Let me show you what I'm talking about. In Hebrews chapter 11, verse 8. By faith, Abraham, when he was called to go out into a place which he should, after receiving inheritance, obeyed and went out. So, Abraham, which is our forefather, he obeyed by doing as the Lord say do. So by us obeying him, we have to do what he say do, thus laboring. That's our labor. So we can receive that rest. But you got to put in the action. You got to put in the work. You got to keep the commandments. It's no way around it. A lot of people, they trying to find a fine print. They trying to find a loophole. Ain't no loophole to the kingdom. There's no loophole to the kingdom. You can't find a shortcut, right? You can't find another alternate route. You can't find a detour to the kingdom, right? Let me get this in 2nd Ezra chapter 7, right? And there's no detour to the kingdom. Either you're going to do what the Lord tell you to do to how to get to the kingdom, or you just ain't going to get it. Either you're going to be obedient to Yahweh Shem Yahushua, or you just ain't going to get it. It's a wrap for you. It's done. And that's where it's all said and done, to where we got to get a mindset to hell what we believe, to hell what we think, to hell what we feel. We got to do what Yahweh Hashem Yahushua say. So I mean Yahweh Hashem Yahushua say do. Right? Whatever the Lord say do, that's what we got to do. Right? Simple. If Yahweh Hashem Yahushua tells us keep the Sabbath day, keep the Sabbath day. Wear your fringes. Don't eat pork. Don't commit adultery. Don't backbite. Right? So, this is the book of 2nd Ezra chapter 7 and verse 7 verse 6. So we're going to go through this to show you, man, there's no alternate route. There's no other way that you can kind of get around this thing. Right? It's just very simple. So, let's go to 2nd Ezra chapter 9 and chapter 7 and verse 6. There is also another thing. A city is builded and set upon a broad field, and is full of all good things. This is the kingdom. This is the place of rest. This is the place where you receive joy, right? Rulership, happiness, right? It's full of treasures. It's so much. I mean, it's endless things when it comes to the kingdom, right? Being with the Lord, right? Not being destroyed by Babylon, right? The entrance thereof is narrow, and is set in a dangerous place to fall, like as if there were a fire on the right hand and on the left a deep water. So how the kingdom, the process of the path to the kingdom, how it's set up, you got fire on one side, you got water on the other side, right? And so it's no like, well, I can try going this way. I'm making no, it ain't. You got to go straight through. You got to ride the straight and narrow. You just got to ride the straight and narrow. It says, and only one path between them both, even between the fire and the water, so small that there could one man go there at once. Right? So it's plain. Just gotta do what Lord say do, man. Just keep it simple. Like my auntie Barbara used to say, keep it simple, stupid. You know what I'm saying? Keep it simple, man. You know, a lot of people, they try to, hey, man, just keep the commandments, man. Keep the commandments, have faith in Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. Simple. Right? So, and I'm not going to read the whole thing in Hebrews chapter 11. But when you read these accounts, you see that our people, or our forefathers, the things that the Lord told them to do, that was a part of them having faith, right? That was part of them having faith, right? He had to have faith to move. He had to have faith. He had to believe what the Lord say for him to go to the land of Canaan, right? He had to believe it. He had to believe it, right? Let me get another. Let me jump down and go to verse 6 on Hebrews 11 and verse number what was that? All right, verse number 17. It says, by faith, right? When by faith Abraham, when he was tried, offered up Isaac, and he that had received the promises offered up his only begotten son, of whom it was said that in Isaac thy seed shall thy seed be called. That in Isaac shall thy seed be called. So with that being said, right? Abraham, he had faith, right? He had faith that, hey, the Lord did promise me that Abraham, that's that chosen. I mean, not that Abraham, but that's my chosen seed. My seed gonna come out of Isaac. That's what the Lord promised me. But he still fell through with what he was told, right? And the Lord made happen. So the point is, when it talks about having faith, you gotta have works involved with it. It don't work like that. It even tells you in the book of James, faith without works is dead. It just don't. Your faith is dead. If you ain't got no works behind it, it's just dead. Simple. There's no life. But by you doing what Yahweh shall say do, then boom. Thus, you really have faith. Your faith lives, right? Let me get a precept in book of James. I want to say it's James. No, not this one. It's probably James 2. Bear with me. It's James 2:18. Yea, a man may say, thou hast faith, and I have works. Show me thy faith without thy works, right? And I will show thee my faith by my works, right? So there's no way around it, right? You gotta be keeping these commandments, right? And we have times where we fall short in this thing, man, right? But that's the difference between a wicked man and a righteous man. A wicked man, he can be like, well, I just broke the commandments, man. I just gonna keep on breaking them. He not gonna try to fight. He not gonna try to keep going. He's not gonna try to overcome. Right? He just gonna be like, to hell with it. To hell with it. Let me fall to lust. Let me fall to the smoking demon. Let me fall to breaking the Sabbath demon. Let me fall to not wearing my fringes no more. Instead of trying to get back up and trying to fight some more and persevere, right? And hit that straight and narrow, right? You gotta really want this thing. You gotta really want the kingdom. You can't sit here and think that this kingdom gonna do. Oh man, it's easy work. It's about a fight. We warriors. You gotta be able to go to war on this thing. You go to get Baruch. But we know the classic when they say, hey man, a just man falls 7 times. I mean, a just man fall. Yeah, a just man falls, right, 7 times, we're paraphrasing. But he gets up, we're paraphrasing. But the wicked, he don't fall into mischief. But I'm gonna give Baruch chapter 4, verse 28. It says, for as it were your mind, because again, sometimes you do fall. Because we're in this journey, it's true, we're trying our best to strive for perfection. That's what we striving for perfection. So we try to do our damnness to not go off. We try to do our damnness to not sin, right? We trying our best. Sometimes it happens. Sometimes your mind goes astray, right? Sometimes when you on this straight and narrow, you start to lean over to the fire or lean over to the water. But what happens when you do that? Right? You got to get back. We got to get back on. You got to get back and get back to your focus. Right? You got to get back here. You got to be level headed. Right? It says, Root 428. For as it were your mind to go astray from your Yahweh. Because that's what happens when you go off. When you go off, when you commit sin, it's because your mind went astray. It's because your mind went somewhere else. Because we're supposed to be seeking the Lord. So whenever you find yourself not seeking the Lord, 9 times out of 10, that's when you go off. Right? So when you get back, when you get your head back in the game, as in you getting up, because you done failed, now you get back up. Right? Now you get your mind back in the game. It says, so being returned, because at that point, now you don't return back. Right? Now you return back to the focal point. Seek him 10 times more. So when you do fall short or go off, when you return, when you come back, man, seek the Lord 10 times more. Go harder. Because a lot of times you probably feel short because you was being slothful, you was being idle. You want to do you just let sin slip, you let sin creep in on you, right? When you get back right, you gotta turn back, man. You gotta go hard. You gotta go hard, man. That's what it is in this truth. You gotta go hard in this thing, man. It's go hard or go home, right? There is no work in the grave, right? Let me get another precept. This is one of my favorite precepts right here, though. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. It's one of my favorite precepts. Sirach chapter 43 and 30. Right? This joint goes so crazy. And we gotta remember this and keep this in our minds, man. Like, you gotta remember this joint, man. It says, this is Baruch chapter 43 and verse 30. When ye glorify the Lord, exalt him as much as ye can, as much as you can. When you glorify the Lord, man, exalt him as much as you can. For even yet will he far exceed. And when you exalt him, put forth all your strength and be not weary. So you gotta put forth all your strength. When you reading, put forth all your strength. When you praying, put forth all your strength. When you fasting, put forth all your strength. Right? When you teaching, put forth all your strength. Right? When you giving alms, put forth all your strength. Right? Whatever you doing for the amen, put forth all your strength and be not weary. For you can never go far enough. You can never go far enough in this truth. You might do this, you might do that. Don't sit here and think that you done achieved. Don't think you say, well, now I can calm down now. I can relax now. Ain't no relaxing, right? Ain't no relaxing to the kingdom, man. Like it said, I want to say in the book of Micah, right? The book of Micah, Malachi. Hey, this is not our rest, right? This ain't our rest. Ain't no time for and that again. When you start to do that relaxing, that's when that slothfulness try to creep in, right? That idleness try to creep in, right? So we gotta be on go, right? We can't go far enough in the truth. We gotta go hard, right? Go hard to go home, right? He said, he said Isaiah 51:3. See, Comes on. For the Lord shall comfort Zion. He will comfort all her waste places. He will make her wilderness like Eden, her desert like the garden. Oh, you must talking about earlier when I was looking for that precept. Nah, but that's a good one too, though. That's a good one too. But yeah, man, you know what I'm saying? It says we gotta work by the sweat of our brow, right, until their rest. Right, that's right. Right, so we gotta go hard in this thing, right? We gotta go hard, right, until the day of rest. Right? So let's go back to the book of Psalms chapter 24, right? Psalms chapter 24. Right. So it says this. It says Psalms 24, then we're gonna go to verse 4. It says, he that have clean hands, right? So you gotta have clean hands in this thing, right? You gotta have clean hands. Right. Let me go to the book of Psalms, chapter 119 and 9. Right? The book of Psalms, chapter 119 and verse 9. It says, wherewithal shall a young man cleanse his way? By taking heed thereto according to thy word. That's how you clean your hands up. By taking heed to the word. By taking heed to the word, the commandments. That's how you clean yourself up. A lot of us is we filthy. Especially when we was in the world, man, we was filthy, man. Just imagine you got mud slop on you, you got sweat, dirt stains, everything that you just messed up. You just messed the hell up. Right? Right? You down bad. Right? But what happens when you come to this truth? Right? You start to clean yourself up. Right? It's kind of like an addict. Right? And and at that point when they just did it, they went crazy. They be at their lowest. They be looking crazy, right? But when they go to rehab, they start to clean themselves up, start to get clean, right? So when we keep the commandments and we take heed, that's us cleaning ourselves up. That's us cleaning our hands, right? All right, I got another precept. Bear with me. Right, this book of Isaiah chapter 1 verse 16. It says, wash you, make you clean, put away the evil of your doings from before my eyes, cease to do evil. So this is how you get yourself clean. We gotta put away the evil of our doings. We gotta put away the blunt. We gotta put away the pride. We gotta put away the homosexuality. We gotta put away the dang the adultery. We got to put away the fornication. We got to put away breaking the Sabbath. We got to put away not having our friends on. We got to put away the evil of our doings, right? And it says, cease to do evil. Stop it. Put an end to it, right? We got to put an end to going off, doing evil. This is how you clean yourself up, right? This is how you clean yourself up in this thing, right? So put away the evil. Take heed to the commandments, right? So let's go back to Psalm chapter 24. It says this. It says, oh my God, slack you. He that have clean hands and a pure heart, right? Let me get some couple precepts on that, right? A pure heart. Let's go to the book of Titus, chapter. Let me go to Titus chapter 1. I want to say it's 1. At the end of 1. Yeah, the book of Titus, chapter 1 and verse 15. Unto the pure, all things are pure. But unto them that are defiled in unbelieving is nothing pure. Right? So to those that are defiled, who are defiled what? Defiled by adultery, defiled by fornication, defiled by idolatry, defiled by whatever the hell demons you dealing with, right? And you not trying to clean yourself up, you not trying to repent, you not trying to turn back to the Lord, and you're gonna thus end up defiling yourself, right? And unbelieving. Those that lack faith, that don't believe in Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shah, right? Thus, you're going to be unpure, right? It just told you. The ones that's going to ascend to the hill, the ones with the clean hands, right? And the pure heart, right? So we gotta have a pure, and we gotta be moving like this, right? Unto the pure, all things are pure, but unto them that are defiled and unbelieving is nothing pure, right? So those people that defile, you ain't got nothing pure going on, right? The unbelieving, nothing going on, right? But even their mind and conscience is defiled. Hey, they mind bad. They mind bad, right? Because they're going to hell off, right? It says they profess that they know God, but in works they deny him. So they profess out of their mouth, right? But in their works, they deny the Lord. They breaking the Sabbath. They committing adultery, right? They having pride, right? They being covetous, right? They stealing, murdering, whatever. Being an alphabet community, right? Thus denying the Lord. Being abominable and disobedient and unto every good work reprobate. Right? You don't want to be a reprobate in this thing, man. Where you have now you content when you sin. You don't even see that you're doing anything wrong now. You done justified it. You done went through the precepts. See, it don't say we can't smoke. It don't say we can't do this, deal with harlots. It don't say that. Whatever you got people trying to say to justify their sin. People come with all kind of stuff, man. Right? Because they mind bad, they have become reprobate. Right? They don't even see the way they're doing it is wrong. Right? So let's get another precept. In the book of Matthew, chapter 5. Right? I'm going to jump to blessed this right here. This is Matthew chapter 5 verse 8. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see Yahweh. So you want to be pure in heart. Your mind, pure in mind. Right? So you got to clean yourself up, right? And have a pure heart. Get your mind right. Right? And sometimes, you know, you have what's that word? Intrusive thoughts, crazy thoughts, right? You gotta rebuke them because it's just Satan, right? You gotta rebuke them, fast on it, whatever you gotta do, but it happens. But a person it's a difference between somebody that have intrusive thoughts and they rebuke them and they kind of like, they fight the thoughts versus somebody that they don't fight the thoughts. They sit there, right, and they meditate on the wickedness. They sit there and they all they can do is think about is wickedness. All they do is think about wickedness. And they're not trying to fight it. They giving in to it. Right? They giving in to it. All right, let's keep going. Matthew 24:4. Who have not lifted up his soul unto vanity, nor sworn deceitfully. So you want to lift up your soul to vanity, right? It says, he shall receive the blessing from the Lord and righteousness from the God of his salvation, right? So you want to see that? I mean, you gotta have clean hands, right? You gotta walk in righteousness, right? You gotta speak the truth, right? And it says, this is the generation of them that seek him, that seek thy face, O Jacob Salah. Right? So we got to seek the kingdom. Right? We got to seek the Lord. We got to seek Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shah. Right? Shalom, shalom. Right? So we got to do what we got to do, man, these times. Right? So, you know what I'm saying? Lord, man, that was edifying through the Spirit. Right? I want to give all honor and glory to Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shah. And so shalom to all the brothers that's sisters that's hopping in on the live, all praise the Most High. Again, want to give our honor and glory to Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shah. Right? And big brother, sister, mighty, shalom, Conyers, shalom.